Здравствуйте, меня зовут Мухаммед Saad. Добро пожаловать на урок русского языка. Hello and welcome to our Russian class. My name is Mohammed Saad and I will be your Russian instructor. Well, I have been working as a Russian tour guide here in Egypt and I have been teaching Russian language in distance learning settings. I'm very excited about the opportunity of being your Russian teacher in this year, and it is really wonderful that there are so many of you out there willing to study Russian language. But let me ask you this question: why Russian? Why now? Why did you choose Russian language? Is that a good language to study? And the answer, of course, is yes. This is a wonderful language to study and I hope that you will be enjoying that process. But now let's us talk about why Russian. Why did you choose Russian language to study? How many people around the world speak the Russian? And the answer is more than 300 million people around the world speak the Russian language. Well, this figure is much bigger than population of Russia. The population of Russia at this moment is about 145 million people. But there are so many people out of the country speaking the Russian language. So when we count everybody in, we come up with more than 300 million people speaking and understanding the Russian language. Together with English and Chinese, Russian is one of 3 major world languages. So here's your answer right here. It's a great language to study. Then, do you know how many high school students studying the Russian language in the United States? Only 15,000. Now think how big this country is, and only just 15,000 high school students studying the Russian language. So this puts you in a very select, very elite group, and this will single you out. You will be different. You will be learner of the Russian language. Russian is a very good language for college, since there are a few high school students studying it. And also the Russian language has a very bad reputation of being difficult language to study. It is good for your college. It looks excellent for high school record. College seeks a good people out there, and you will be a member of that select group. You will be a member of learner the Russian language. So that's a very good language to be involved in. And the United States, as a leader of a business around the world, wants to go into the business inside Russia and do business there. That's why the US businesses are looking for people who can make connection and contact with people. In this class, we will focus our attention not only in the Russian language, also on the Russian culture as well. It is also worth mentioning that studying Russian is an enriching cultural experience. Do you know how old Russia is? Sometimes I will be referring to event that occurred in the 10th century. So Russia has a millennium of history, even more than that. And we'll be talking about things that date back to 9th century, to the 10th century, to the 11th century. You will be amazed of that wealth that will open up in front of you. And I would certainly like to encourage you not only to attend our classes and study and do your homework, but read about in your own, so that you can really be touched by the Russian history, and this will enrich you so much. And as I have said, I have been teaching Russian for 5 years at distance learning setting, and my students have been scattered all over the US, and each of them really enjoy it. So that will be a marvelous experience for you to study the Russian language, and it will give you a better way to understand the Russian culture and the Russian people. It is very important to understand the Russian people. So I hope that we will have a very good time together studying the Russian language. But Russian, of being a very difficult language, means that you have to stay organized, keep working hard. So every day please have your textbook, your pen and pencils. You cannot show up in class and nothing with you. That is not right. You will have to have some material, notebooks, pens and pencils, and textbook too, by the way. So you will have to have your notebooks, you will have to have your textbooks, you will have to have pen and pencils, you will have to have some paper. And I hope that we will really be able to be on top of everything and things will be just nicely going. And what might help you to put your all materials together. This takes care of housekeeping. And now let's begin. Now, do you know how many letters does the Russian alphabet have? I'll give you a few time to just think about that. And the answer is 33 letters. The Russian alphabet is composed of 33 letters. So let's look at the Russian alphabet. As you can see, it's composed of some letters that you already know. And also there are some characters in it that you have never seen before. But we approach the study of the Russian alphabet very methodically, and very soon, within 2 or 3 weeks, you will be able to read any Russian word. By the way, reading Russian is really much simpler than reading English. English has a mute letter combination and there are 6 different ways to read letter A. Nothing of that stuff in Russian language. So you will actually be amazed of how soon, how quickly you will master of the Russian alphabet. And how soon you will be able to read any Russian word and read it really well. Of course, part of it depends on you. You only get out of it as much as you put into. And if you approach seriously, you will very soon be enjoying reading Russian and speaking the Russian language. So let's plunge into the study of the Russian alphabet. So how many letters do we have there? 33. 33. Well, the Russian alphabet is very often referred to the Cyrillic alphabet, and we call it as the Cyrillic alphabet in honor of Saint Cyril. He is a Greek monk who lived in the 9th century, who lived for a very many years among the Slavic tribes of Eastern Europe. He started their languages and developed the writing system that today is used by several Slavic languages. Russian, it is not the only language that uses the Cyrillic alphabet. The other languages that use the same writing system are the Ukrainian language, the Belarusian language, the Bulgarian language, and the Serbian language. So once you mastered the Cyrillic alphabet, you hold the key to read all those languages. But let's just concentrate our attention on Russian. What we are going to do with you today? Well, we will split the Russian language into 6 letter groups. And we will study each letter group separately. And the first letter group that we will look at today is composed of these 6 letters. Please look at them very closely. Don't they look familiar? And indeed they should. Some of the characters in Cyrillic alphabet are of the Latin origin, and you can find these all 6 letters in Western language, in English alphabet. But let's go over this letter by letter. A, E, K, M, O, T. Not only do these letters look alike, they also give exactly the same sound as the English alphabet. and you never knew that you already know 6 letters of the Russian alphabet. So let me come over this letter by letter. Let's look at this. This is the first letter in the Russian alphabet. Letter A. 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 That is the name of the letter, and it always gives us the sound of A. A. We always pronounce it like this. A. No matter where it occurs in the word. A. A. The next letter of our group is the letter Y. Y. Just think of English word yes. Cut the S. That's what remains. Yeah. 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 And then comes the letter K. 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 That the name of the letter, that the sound it gives us. K. K. And now, what is this? Please name it for me. This is letter M. 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 That the name of the letter, and M, the sound it gives us. M. That the letter M. Then comes the letter O. 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 Just simple of O sound. And to complete our first letter group, we comes with letter T. 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 That's the name of the letter, T, the sound that it gives us. Now that we know 6 letters of the Russian alphabet, let's start to put them together and to start making a word. And look at our first one. This is the first word that any child says in Russia, and it is mama. 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 It is the Russian word of mom. Well, хорошо. By the way, хорошо it means very good, very well. Хорошо. So our second word is kot. 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 And this is the very little animal that any Russian family like to have in their houses. Kot. 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 A cat. Kot. Kot. Notice in the Russian word we have the letter O in the middle. O. Kot. Kot. Say it in Russian one more time, please. Kot. Kot. And let's take a look at this one. This is the drink that every Russian loves to drink, especially in winter. Cacao. Cacao. Cocoa or hot chocolate. They call it like this. Cacao. Cacao. And now we will take a look at the word that is composed, the all 6 letters that we already know now. All 6 letters that we studied today are in this word. Комета. Комета. A comet. Well, that's very, very good. Those were your first Russian word. And now let's take a look at a few pictures, and I want you to... So this is our first picture. And who is this lady? Mama. Mama. And now let's look at this nice little animal. What is it? Kot. 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 And How do we name this drink in Russian? Cacao. Cacao. Oh, you're doing great. But let's take a look at all these 4 words on one page, and I will read them for you. Then I will give you a second, and I want you to read them out loud in your classroom. Mama, kot, cacao, комета. Let's do it one more time. Mama, kot, cacao, комета. Now go ahead and read them out loud in your classroom. Mama, kot, cacao, комета. Very good. Очень хорошо. And now the difficult part. Pick up your pen or pencil paper. We're going to learn how to write these 6 letters in cursive. Yes, we are going to learn the Russian cursive, how to write in Russian cursive. Is everybody ready? So, let's begin. Now, we should start with letter A, the first letter in the Russian alphabet. That's what we do. Start from above the line, going up. We need to top point it like this. A. Let us do it one more time. With this nice little hook. Letter A. Going up, the top needs to be pointed, then going down nicely, and we put this nice little hook. A. And the lowercase is just like that. A. 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 Yes. Now let's learn how to write letter M. We start with the same, a little above of the line, going up, then going down. The top is pointed. Well, let's go. Let's do it one more time. M. M. Let's do it one more time. A little bit faster. M. And the lowercase is just a small version of that. Yes. Yeah. Do you know what's the first word that any Russian child says? Mama. Let's connect M with letter A. Ma. Mama. Mama. Let's do it a little bit faster. Ma. Ma. Mama. Mama. Now let's look to the letter K. We start from here. K. Let's do it one more time. Ka. Ka. And the lowercase is just small version of that. Ka. 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 But be noticed that in Russian alphabet, in letter K, we don't have this long column just like as in English. It only stays the same. Ka. And now the letter O. Just like in English alphabet. O. 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 And the lowercase is just a small version of that. O. 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 And now, and this is the letter T. That's what we do. T. We start with the first element, then the second, then the third, and we need to crown it all with that crown. T. T. Let's do it one more again. This is the capital letter of T. T. And the lowercase is just like that. Please don't get confused with English alphabet. That's how they do in Russian. T. T. As much as you practice, you will be familiar with that. T. T. And now let's write the little animal that every Russian and American family love to have in their houses. Kot. 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 Let's do it one more again. Ka. Let's connect it with O. Let's connect it O with T. Kot. Kot. Let's do it a little bit faster. Kot. Kot. And now hot chocolate or cacao. Ka. Cow. Cacao. Let's do it one more again. Ka. Let's connect it with A. Ka. Cow. Cacao. And now let's do the word of kamieta, the word that contains all 6 letters that we have learned today. Yeah, like this. Ko, mie, connected with te, don't get confused, kamieta. That's it. Let's do it one more again. Ka, ko, mie, kamieta. And notice that this letter Y, just like the English letter E. E. Yeah. This is the capital letter. Yeah. 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 And the lowercase is just like that. Yeah. Yeah. Let's do it one more again. Yeah. This ought to convince you that the Russian alphabet and the Russian language are really very learner friendly. There is nothing to be scared of. There is nothing to be afraid of. But let's take a look at a few pictures again, and I want you to identify what you see in Russian. What do you call this lady? Mama. Mama. And this little animal? Kot. Kot. And finally, how do we call this drink in Russian? Cacao. Cacao. Very good. Very good. Well, keep practicing with your first group. Keep practicing with handwriting, and as soon as much as you're practicing, it would be very easy for you. Very good. Хорошо. Now it's time for me to say до свидания, which means in English goodbye. Well, next time we will continue study of the second group of Russian alphabet. Спасибо. Thank you. And до свидания.